Hello everyone and welcome to Boardscape. I'm Aaron and today we have a number of Kickstarters to go over that released in the last week. First up, we have Meeples Monsters. Now this is done fairly well as was expected with 2,200 backers, over 100 grand raised, funded in 15 minutes. This is an AEG game, so we knew this was going to do well, right? Now, Meeples Monsters is going to be a bag building worker placement game, where it sort of has that little play on Dungeons and Dragons. Instead of Dungeons and Dragons, you have Meeples and Monsters, and it has that same fantasy setting vibe, where some of the Meeples in here are going to represent things such as warriors, or mages, or clerics, or whatever else. You can see some of what they even look like here. So, what do you do in this game? In this game, you are going to be doing three main things. You are going to be recruiting, where you are basically upgrading and grabbing new meeples to put into your bag. Every turn, you're going to pull out some meeples and have actions that you can take with them. The different meeples will be able to do different things, better or worse than other colors. So, you can recruit, build up your bag. You can upgrade the town by placing new action tiles, sort of like in Lords of Waterdeep, right? Where they have the tiles on the side, if you've ever played that you can then place within the play area, and allows that to be a new space that can be gone to. Or you can, so you're upgrading your town, or you're fighting enemies that are trying to surround the town. Overall, it does look like a fun little worker placement game that I think would be great for a family or just a group of friends, right? No, if you're looking for something not very heavy, but it's still going to be a great time, this looks right up the alley. Now, one thing to note here is that this will be in stores later, but if you go ahead and get the Kickstarter edition for $49, then you do get the upgraded printed meeples, which look 1,000 times better, as they usually do, than just the plain colored meeples. You're going to get a 20-tower, 4 towers expansion that comes with 20 tower tiles, and rules for the solo game. So if you think you're going to get it, $50 is not bad. Of course, you have to add shipping on top of that, but I mean, even look at this. Look how far they have gone with this. This player handbook looks exactly like the player handbook from the original Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook. I'm not going to put it up here, but go look that up. The Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook, and then look back here at this Player's Handbook for Meeples Monsters, and see how much love and care they have put into this to mimic that old school vibe of Dungeons & Dragons. It's great. I love it. Next up, we have Theurgy, which is going to be an area control game of Monsters and Miracles. Now, I think that it's obviously reached its pledge at 33,000, 429 backers. I believe this is a game that is getting lost in the shuffle, because it looks like a good game, but I don't think that the pre-campaign was really that good, and the amount of things coming out right now are sort of getting this pushed to the back burner. So, what is Theurgy? As we said, it's an area control game, medium weight, so not too heavy, and you're going to be doing a couple different things. So you can see some of the art here, but I'm going to scroll down so that we can take a look. Some of the things you get: miracle cards, capital events, monsters that you can use, divine challenges, 6 different player boards, so 6 different people you can play as, 10 settlement tiles, all sorts of crap that you need for games, right? Now, one thing to note before I get into what Theurgy really is that they do have 2 different versions, the Mortal and the Divine, and the difference is going to be that the Mortal is going to be 54 USD, and the Divine Pledge is going to be 96. So, The mortal stuff looks way worse than divine by design, right? So you're getting very basic stuff over in this mortal section. These action pawns are just action pawns, whereas these are custom pawns. The monsters in the Mortal Pledge are represented by tokens, but in the Divine Pledge they are actually meeples. And then they have all sorts of upgraded stuff as well. So if you're looking into this game, look and see, is that aesthetic difference big enough for you to spend the extra $45? That's really only a question you can determine. So, in this game, you're going to have a couple different actions. You're going to have 2 acolytes, and those are going to be represented by these meeples. So one thing that you can do is pilgrimage, where you send one of your acolytes to a corresponding tile and convert one of the pawns. Pretty simple, except for the fact that the pawns will be determining factors in whether or not monsters attack you, or possibly even the other players. You see, in an area, if you are sort of building up one area, you are more likely to be attacked by the monsters. Whereas if you only have 1, maybe 2 pawns in an area, then you are more likely to be attacked by other players who can easily overcome you. So there's going to be a balance in this game of trying to be right in the middle. You don't want to have too many, you don't want to have too few. There's going to be that sweet spot that you're trying to get to. And pilgrimage is going to be one of the ways that you get there. On top of that, you can spread the word. So again, you are a god trying to get your word out there, and in this you are spreading the word to multiple tiles at once, impacting. You can see that it's going on the junction where these tiles meet, and that is going to influence how easy it is to construct a temple successfully in those tiles. So by placing 3 spread the words out here, you are making this tile way easier to build a temple in. Now, one thing of note is you can put those over your enemies. So if your rivals already have 1 or 2 of these out there, you can go ahead and screw them up by putting your own on top of them. Besides that, you're going to have the Divine Intervention, which allows you to play cards, right? So this one, this Floods, remove any 4 followers from a settlement, or from this settlement. And so that's going to be a way to deal with other players, player interaction, right? These big, dramatic, divine interventions that are happening on these unbeknownst pawns. Besides that, you're going to have the final one, which is going to be Test the Faith. And Test the Faith is going to be where you try to build your temples, but if you fail, then it will turn to ruins. And temples are going to be the goal. They're going to be the way that you win. They're going to be victory points in a way. So you're going to want to do that. That's what you're leading everything else up towards. Now, as we scroll down, yes, they have an AI mode. I've never been huge on area control AI. I've always found it clunky. I've not really looked at this, but know that if you like that, it's here. Skepticism. This is going to be one of the main combating mechanics, so that runaway mechanics. So the rival gods are just one of your problems. The others is a guild of alchemists who seek to explain away supernatural phenomena as part of the ordinary course of events. So basically what happens here is that anytime the guild whenever you test the faith in a settlement, all the other settlements next to it are going to get one of these tokens in it. And those tokens are going to make it harder for you to succeed at your test the faiths. So, and just growing influence in general. So there's going to be that play when you're laying down your temples and trying to decide, do I really want to put it here and allow all these other tiles to get these tokens on them, making them harder to test the faith later and build temples? Maybe you try to line it up so that you are putting test the faith in areas that screw over your opponents, or not tests of faith, putting these skepticisms in places that screw over your opponents. It's a neat mechanic, and I like it. On top of that, there will be the monsters and miracles and all that other stuff. So, if you like area control games, if you are fans of playing as gods on the unbeknownst peoples of the world, then this might just be a game that is up your alley. Go ahead and check it out. Next up, we have the Pagan Fate of Roanoke. Now, this is doing fairly well. It just came out, and almost 700 backers, $43,000 raised. They describe this as an asymmetrical, expandable deduction card game. Now, that's a lot of words, but I think that they pulled it off. So, in Pagan Fate of Roanoke, one of you are playing as the witch hunter, and one of you is playing as the witch. The witch hunter is trying to find the witch is trying to perform her potion or spell or whatever before she is found out. So one thing of note here also is that they do plan to have lots of expansions, small and big, in the future. So they have thought about the future. So if it looks like a fun game to you, know that they plan, as of now, to continue to grow this game into something more. So if you want to look into it, they have all sorts of things here that you can watch. Cella's Short and Sweet here was pretty good. I would recommend that. So let's scroll down here. Where is it? Yes, the goal of the game is going to be that there are two players, and each of you, as I said, one is the witch hunter, one is the witch, and you're trying to complete your objective first. As the witch, your objective is to collect enough secrets to perform a ritual so potent that the entire region will fall under your spell. As the hunter, you're trying to gather allies and support all the allies and support you can so that you can bring down the witch. So you're going to have these different players that you're playing as, and the witch is going to be one of them, and the witch hunter's not going to know who. You're going to be bluffing and deducting while playing suspects and villagers and cards from your hand that do all sorts of things, all to throw each other off and try to bring out secrets and clues. So if an asymmetrical card building deck type game, deduction game sounds fun to you, that they do plan to continually grow over the years, this might just be great for you. I would check it out. Next up, we have So You've Been Eaten. Now, this has been on a lot of people's radars. 4,400 backed, 190,000 raised, 22 days to go. This is going to be a 1 or 2 player game only, and in it, one of you is playing as the board and the other as the little meeple guy trying to make it through the board. So basically, you are a miner. One player is the miner trying to collect 8 different gems, and they're doing that as they methodically go through this giant monster worm type guy that they've been eaten by, flipping over cards, trying to see if they can get these gems. At the same time, another player is playing as the board, as I said, trying to have these 4 different bacterias eat at the other player. And they're trying to stop them and kill them before they get all the way through. And they have ways in this for you to play solo as both the miner as well as the board. They have the 2-player game. They have the upgraded crystals and everything. So if you're looking to get this, note that the basic edition, which is $30, will get you these crystal tiles and bacteria tiles, just little cardboard cutouts. But if you upgrade to $40, so just $10 more, then you get these premium crystal tokens and these upgraded screen printed tokens, as well as this ghoul guy. So you get more for just $10. It would definitely be worth it. If you want to go all the way to $50 for the collector's edition, then you get some upgraded materials, as well as the dice tower, which does look cool, and the tuck boxes, and a beast die. So, you've been eaten. There's a lot here. Great for two-player game from a company who is well known and has done quite a few Kickstarters already. With COVID, a lot of people have been looking forward to this, playing both solo and co-op games, or not co-op, duo games. If that's you, then go ahead and check this out. Next up is going to be Doomlings, which is going to be a small card game, which actually looks pretty fun. 1,700 backers, 100,000 raised, 24 days to go. Doomlings is going to come in 3 different versions, so heads up. $25 gets you the base game, $45 gets you the base game plus a couple expansions, and the $69 gold bundle gets you everything. Now, what is Doomlings? Doomlings is going to be a game where you are playing as these little Doomlings, and it's almost like a set collection type thing, right? So you are going to be able to play 2 cards from your hand and do whatever the effect says. Every round you're going to flip over some age cards that also have some things, so like this Age of Peace. Ignore all trait actions, which are represented by this A. So, it looks like a couple of these have it. There's also going to be catastrophes hidden within these ages, and once 3 catastrophes come out, the game is over. And these are going to do all sorts of things, such as take a -1 from your gene pool, which is basically your hand, which we will check later. Discard 2 cards from your hand at random, and if this is the 3rd one in the world is ending, then you're discarding 1 blue trait from your trait pile at random. So 1 blue card that you've played throughout the game, you're going to get rid of, and you don't even know which one it is. So, Doomlings have dominant traits, or some of them have dominant traits, and you can only use 2 dominant traits. Sorry, you can play more than 2 Doomlings. That was dumb of me to say. But you can only play 2 dominant traits. And they're going to change up the way that you play. So the Doomlings, as we see, they do all sorts of things. So like this in these blue traits here, this blubber guy is worth 4. Nice. Flight allows you to swap hands with an opponent. Interesting. The iridescent scales allows you to draw 2 cards. So they're all doing different things, and as you're playing them, going back and forth, it's changing up the game depending on which ones you're playing. So, these are going to be the gene pool cards, which are basically just going to be cards in front of you, letting you know where your gene pool is now, what your hand size is, because your hand size will be changing throughout the game, and so they give you these nifty little cards that you can twist and turn so that you can remember your hand size. I think that's neat. The Tier 2 $45 black box gives you a couple expansions, the Mythlings, the Dinolings, and Dual Colors. I am definitely interested in what Dual Colors is. Then the Tier 3 gives you those, as well as the Techlings, and the Meaning of Life expansion. Oh, plus the Gold Edition card. So, oh, and an exclusive mat. I forgot that. So there's a lot here that it looks like there's a lot to love. Again, a good family game that is just full of wonderful little pieces of art. I like it. Doomlings. Next up, we have High Noon. And High Noon is going to be a Western tactile shoot 'em up for 2 or more players. And this is a game, again, that some people have been looking forward to because there are not as many Western games out there as people would like. Now, we do have two big westerns going on right now. We have High Noon as well as Zombicide, which is ending, I believe, tomorrow or today, depending on when I put this video up. Should have been out Sunday, but I got my second COVID shot and was out for a day or two. Just had to catch up on some work before I got to this. So anyways, now that you know my life story, High Noon is going to be a Western miniatures shoot 'em up, where you are picking one of multiple sides. You can see right down here the different colored sides, and you're going to set up this board along with that have everything from banks to jails to roads to alleys, with all sorts of little tokens that you can set out there, and basically, as it says, have a shoot 'em up, have your own little Western shootout. That's what this game is. So if you're interested in that, in some character sheets, some loot cards that you can get, some stretch goals, if you want a Western shoot 'em up type game, check out High Noon. It might be worth it. Next up, we have Silverwood Grove with over 1,200 backers, $57,000 raised. This is going to be another woodland creatures game, which has me excited. I love these little woodland games and want them all, even though I'm not going to play them all. This is going to be a relatively simple game where you choose one of 12 characters. There's more with some of the stretch goals, and each character is going to have a talent that or a talent as well as some things that change up your entire strategy, because depending on what your person can do will inevitably change your strategy, right? Well, throughout the game, you're going to be growing resources and then using those resources to build areas such as the stone mine and hire people such as the eremite, and each of those is going to give you more and more things. So you got this, you're building up this little engine using your resources to buy people and build places, which will allow you to do other things. You're also going to be researching your hero skills so that you can do better things with them, developing your tribe so that you're bringing everybody together. Overall, it's just a relatively simple game. You've got your boards here, your development here, your research here, your resource tracker up here. If you want to look at the different people, they show you what each of the traits are, so you can go ahead and see like, oh, is this varied enough that I'm interested in it or not? They come in 3 different colors. So this is from a company who knows what they're doing. They've done multiple Kickstarters before. There's all sorts of unlocked things, and yeah. If you like woodland games, if you like resource management type games, and you want something that plays relatively quickly, then give Silverwood Grove a check out. After that, we have Caper Europe, which is going to be by the makers of Park. Park's been popular for a while, and this is going to be their follow-up. Now, Caper Europe is doing well, almost 3,000 backers, $114,000 raised, 17 days to go. This is going to be a game where you are breaking into some of the most fancy places in Europe and stealing stuff. So, as said, the Mastermind Edition on here is going to be $40. That is where you want to be if you are interested in this game. Let's scroll down here. In this game, you're going to have locations, thieves, and gear. You're going to draft some of them, some thieves. You're going to draft some thieves while trying to take over locations, which will be here in the middle. You can see that we're laying down thieves and gear below them, and this is the area that we're trying to rob. So it's a quirky, fun little game. Some of the areas that, oh yeah, it's all about combo building too. So finding out what works best with who and where is going to be a key part of this game. So we're going to be capering all over Paris, Rome, London, Barcelona, the Versailles. If you've ever wanted to break into the Versailles, now's your chance. You can do it and not even get arrested. But if Caper Europe, not my type of game, but if it looks like yours, definitely check it out. It's becoming pretty popular. After that, we have, I believe, one more. Yep, this is going to be the last one. Gifts of Tulip, which has been doing relatively well, probably because it's pretty cheap. $19, and you got the game. And this is going to be a game of gifting tulips and building beautiful boutiques. Bouquets? I don't know, flower crap. You're building stuff for your friends. And the game... So you're basically just doing that. It's... Oh, shoot. Well, the page isn't loading, but you will have... Oh, there it is. You're going to have various areas out here, and you're going to be laying out some tulips, trying to match and do the best that you can. Sort of set collection-y, if you will. So, really the reason to get this is if you like flowers, if you like tulips, and small card games with set collection mechanics, then check this out. They have the rules and a print and play that you can get. It's on TTS. So, check out Gifts of Tulip. That's going to be it for today. If you found this helpful, then go ahead and go down in there and subscribe. And as always, check out the Patreon where you can win free games for signing up. And... yeah, thank you. And as always, game on.